Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Jerry, and I'm dealing with a problem with the Frontier sawmills that we all deal with, or many, I shouldn't say all, but many of us deal with. Frontier has an answer to the problem, and I'm going to give their solution a try. My mill, it was really starting to tip. These are plastic bushings. That is something I dislike about these mills. I would like to have seen those things be round bushing, like bearings rolling up and down, a couple bearings all the way around. I thought it'd be a lot better than these plastic things. But their solution are these shims. One in the front. Ooh, I never thought about that. My thread might be in the way. Oh, I can get it. Well, we'll get it in there somehow, even if I have to grind a little off of it. I'm not even sure which way it goes on. Oh, like that. It goes just like that. Gosh. Yeah, it'll work. So I'm going to loosen up these 4 bolts. 2 of them have the scale on it. And we're going to put one on the top here and one on the bottom. Now, what I did is I just set the mill down on a 4x4. You know I'm running the screws, but my mill will float as well, just like it does on the cables. So as it went down, I can just run the screws up. So I got all the weight sitting on it, and let me show you. You saw at the beginning, the first clip, how out of whack that was. Now, yes, it's still not square. And I might be able to get some more of that out of here when I may end up loosening all these bolts up if I can't get the blade level. The blade is my concern. Sitting right here, just as it is, it's almost perfect sitting on this. Well, I am going to loosen up the blade guides, make sure there's nothing touching this blade, and that's keeping it from tilting. I don't think there is, but I am going to loosen those up. So before you ask, I have that blade set in such a manner that the level's sitting on it, on the flat, between the flat tooth and the downturned tooth. So you got to keep that in mind when you just drop your level on there, either between them or make sure you're on the flat or the downturned tooth, because they sit like this. Now that I've lifted back up, it's way out of whack. So I'm going to loosen these up. These are just 10 millimeter. All right, so now I'm going to loosen these 14 millimeter bolts. See if we can get these out. I don't think I got to take them all out. I think I just got to take the 2 out. Of course, can't use my finger yet. Here's what the shims look like. There's 4 of them. It is a lot better. This is closer to being level. However, this isn't the blade. it was way off. It's still quite a ways off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up all these bolts, see if I got enough slop to rack this whole thing back. I don't have enough room between these spacers and the uprights to shove those shims down there, except this only one. So maybe that was the side that was wearing out. It's kind of strange too. It's metal on metal now. And they require another one down here on that side. And again, I don't think there's going to be enough room. I tried to tap that one down and it didn't work. So I'm going to loosen all these bolts up that hold this carriage together, just break them loose and see if I got enough tolerances in there and slop that I can rack it. Now that they're all loose, as this goes down, you can see the whole thing come back. It appears, pulling it backwards, that I'm going to get a lot of this out. There's quite a bit of slop in these holes. It took a little creative clamping and strapping, but I'm almost to level. I've got 3/4 of a bubble, and I'm going to call that good. The bubble wasn't even in the lines before, so let me show you where we're at. So I have the blade guides removed or slid back and loosened up, so there's no pressure on them, you can see. And we're much closer to level, not level, but much closer. So what I've done, I've loosened up all the bolts to there, to here, to there. There's 8 on each side. Then I strapped it to that board and I racked it a little bit. Got 2 straps, 1 on each side. I have the clamps here to keep it from tipping back from that. So I'm gonna start snugging this down and see what happens. See if it stays put. You know what, I may use an impact gun. I do have air out here, so let's do that. Can't do the other side yet. 16th to an 8. So what I do is I just pull it forward, bump it, and then just back it up just a scooch. The manufacturer calls for a 16th to an 1/8 of an inch behind the band and the bearing. Yeah, like that. Now I'm bringing the blade guides within about 6 to 10 thousandths of an inch from the blade. Well, that'll do it, guys. You saw how I leveled it. I only ended up using 1 shim on this side. I couldn't get the shim on the other side, and I couldn't get the 3rd and 4th shim on the bottom. So those bushings are still pretty good. This bushing seems to be a little worn out. And after I put that in there and I racked this whole thing, due to the slop and the tolerance in the holes, I loosened all the bolts and was able to lean it back. I have the majority of the bubble, as I showed you. Hopefully that's not causing problems. So guys, that'll do it. I think it's going to solve a couple problems. Well, I'm hoping it solves a couple problems. Let me talk about it real quick. All right, I was getting in my boards, you'd go in, then it'd raise up, come back down, and then come back and then level out the rest of the way for about the first 6 inches of the board. And it just started doing that recently when I checked that. So I was surmising that this was down, and when it started lifting up, it overcompensated, and then it found its way in. You know, like almost like a wave or a Loch Ness monster, you know, and then it starts getting better and better. So it was quite a ways down, as you saw at the beginning. So I surmised that it was coming in, and as it tried to straighten itself out, it went maybe too far, rose up, then back down. And I noticed that did that on the wider cuts. So now that I'm coming in virtually level, I'm hoping that takes care of that problem. Also, maybe that's putting stress on this blade. You know, if it's cutting like this, it has to be putting some stress on it. So now we have it much more level. It was not even, the bubble wasn't even showing, not even touching the line. That's how far off we are. So we're really close now. I know that don't mean anything, but that's perfect. It's not perfect, but it's supposed to have a little downward slope according to the manufacturer. Now I gotta make sure you're not on a blade. Oop, yeah, see, I was right there. Yeah, really close to being level, just outside the bubble. So thanks, guys. That'll do it. All new subscribers, thanks for coming along. Hopefully you got something out of this. I do not like that system on the Frontier. I think it could be a little better, and it probably should be. But if this works and gives me a few years out of it, cool. See you at the mill next time.